run on the Central Valley segment.
That's 119 miles that they've been very slowly building, and the new this new segment is facing an overrun of $1.7 billion. That's a 27% jump over the original estimate, because all the original estimates were lies.
Remember, the first estimate was $33 billion for the whole thing?
Yeah.
I think that was on the ballot, right?
That's the original promise. It's going to be well over $100 billion. All the numbers they give out are fake. They're lies. This is the biggest government construction scam in the history of this country. You can go look it up. And it's run by the criminals in Sacramento.
And the California High-Speed Rail Authority just keeps trying to run this. As we've said before, they're just trying to play the clock and take money as long as they can take money.
This is a fraudulent criminal operation, and everybody at the top ought to be put in prison. And if they were in the private sector, they'd be thrown in jail. Let's get Assemblyman Jim Patterson on, Republican of Fresno, to explain the latest atrocity here. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing great, but you just stole all the details of all my thunder. I just say ditto and hang up.
You think it's a criminal operation, too?
Really, in the private sector, this would be a criminal operation. Wouldn't it be fraud to the investors?
Absolutely. I mean, if you put together business plans that were really basically propaganda documents in an effort to excuse and spend money that you really don't have authority to spend, it would be criminal. I mean, no one would turn in to their CPA a balance sheet and a profit and loss and a cost estimate that is being done here. But hey, that's the way high speed. Look, here's what I think is a big bombshell from the latest Los Angeles Times, and Ralph Ardabedian has got to be commended on this. Isn't it strange that the Fresno Bee is not reporting this kind of overrun, the kind of facts necessary? But here's the big takeaway from this. It took a Freedom of Information Act by some citizens up in the Bay Area who are trying to hold high-speed rail accountable, and they were forced then to disclose $1.7 billion, as you mentioned, the overruns, almost a 30% increase. But there were some other things in that article. They are not building what was promised in the bond measure. We've gone into this before. But the fundamental flaw in all of this, I think, is that they lied about the cost, really lied about what the ticket prices are going to be. But the big, I think, fraud here is that they are saying we can get between L.A. and San Francisco 2 hours and 40 minutes. Every time we get either FOIA information like this or we get reports to the legislature and we finally drag out of them facts and details, now we find out that they are eliminating safety barriers in the big cities. That means Fresno. And that means that the trains will have to slow down going through the cities.
And why are they eliminating the safety barriers? They can't afford it?
Well, they are trying to save money. But the fact is, it's a drop. First of all, it's a drop in the bucket with respect to the savings when you look at it. It'd be $100 billion. But it's another indicator that this project cannot deliver on a competitive, affordable alternative to air travel between Los Angeles and San Francisco. When you stop 5 or 6 times down the route, you slow down through the cities. What we're ending up with is going to be from just outside Bakersfield to maybe they're going to get to San Jose, but I'm beginning to even doubt that, a multi-billion-dollar, slightly improved Amtrak line. Yeah. That is not what they promised the people of the state of California, and that's why this is a bait and switch, and why I think the executive director of this boondoggle resigned quite unexpectedly some time back, and I still think they're trying to find somebody who will be the executive director of this and take on the the responsibility of explaining that it's going to fall apart.
We knew this lie about the travel times was true years ago when they came out with this blended rail idea right away that was going to take away the chances of a 2-hour and 40-minute ride. It's got to be the most horrendous job in all of agency spokespeople's jobs. This Lisa Moriali said, well, if we reduce peak speeds, we'll just have to make it up the time somewhere else on the line. No, that's not going to happen.
That's impossible.
Yeah, that's like saying, well, we can do a 250 mile per hour, but when we have to slow down in the cities or make some of these adjustments, then we'll take a train up to 350 miles an hour, and the trains don't go 350 miles. Look, this is going to be very expensive, and it's going to be this segment that'll I don't think will ever get into the L.A. basin, and I don't know where they're going to find the money necessary to complete the project.
This project, the segment in the Central Valley, is 7 years behind schedule, in addition to being almost 30% over budget.
They're blowing up the calendar, and they're blowing up the cost. And, you would think that you wouldn't have to go get Freedom of Information. I mean, you end up going after Freedom of Information Act when you've got maybe a company that is cheating and lying, or you've got some government fraud and deceit, and they're hiding stuff, and the only way you can get it is Freedom of Information Act. I have concluded that when I sit next, and it'll be next session, in front of the high-speed rail in my capacity as a member of an oversight committee in the budget with respect to all of this, I think I will reserve my questions to the high-speed rail authorities, because I'll already have it. Because I'll have a FOIA request.
Okay.
All of that stuff ahead of time.
Whenever you have a big scam, a big racket like this is, you look at who's making the money. Now, obviously, contractors are making money here, and the executives, employees of high-speed rail are making money. How is the Democratic legislature and Governor Brown, what are they getting out of this? Is there some payoff that they're getting that they keep supporting this? They ought to pull the plug. What's in it for them to keep this racket going?
Well, look, I think that there are some real questions about vote trading and making deals in the dead of night for $1 billion here, $1 billion there. We saw it in the gas tax where there were a few people that held out, and I think you got a senator down there getting recalled for some of that. I think that that's what's going on, and I think there is political payoff, and I think we saw it.
So they're getting some kind of political bribe in exchange for their support for this thing.
Yeah, I'll give you a specific example. We're now transferring billions of dollars of bond money to the braided electrification of the San Jose Caltrain. And that has basically bought Northern California Democrats who a year or two ago were actually getting very skittish over it. So when you see people in Southern California and up in Northern California who have perhaps had some inclination to be supportive of oversight, changing their mind in the last year, there have been political payoffs. And I get another. So they're diverting some money to electrify some local train tracks, and that has shut up the criticism in San Francisco. And they are throwing people like Josh Newman and others sweetheart deals for what his vote on the gas tax. But there is lots of money in the gas tax that's going to be diverted to high-speed rail as well. And here's the difference, I think, in the atmospherics and all of this. 2 years ago, I passed a really good, strong accountability bill that would have required all of this stuff to be out in public, and actually got it through both the Senate and the Assembly. It went to the governor's, and the governor vetoed it. This year, I put the same bill in, identical language, and I did not get one single Democrat vote, and it was killed in the first committee. You ask yourself, what has changed? Yeah. I believe it's been the behind-the-scenes sweetheart.
There's obviously a payoff. Jim Patterson, Republican Fresno from the Assembly. Thanks for coming on.
Great to be with you. Thanks a lot.
All right, that's an update on the Boondoggle. Big cost overruns in